Shout out to Brenda, Taran, Mopa and Siska. Thanks so much for subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for regular uploads and your chance to be included in shoutouts for future videos. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be using up some oils, fragrance oil that I have had for actually quite a while now. And as you know, probably for those of you that have watched my videos for a while, I do a lot of private label soaps, one being my local cafe. And I have this fragrance oil, natural fragrance oil, Brazilian mango and grapefruit from Aussie Candle Supplies. And it's very mild and soap. It doesn't really, it's not like a strong scent or anything. It's really mild after the cure. So I'll be using that at 5%. And I want to use that bottle up. I'd rather it not go to waste. So I'm going to make some really, really low cost, budget friendly soaps for me to put down at my local cafe, which doesn't cost me a lot to make, but I will recoup, you know, the costs like of the Rice Bran and the fragrance oil. And I've done the costing for everything, and it's definitely in the budget range, and I will provide the actual cost pricing at the end of this video. So just watch out at the end, and I'll just do like a little snapshot of how I worked it out in Excel. And for those of you that have watched my Excel video and my cost pricing video, I'll link it up here and over here. So if you want to go check that out, and also provide a free version of that Excel sheet as well. So I literally just used that, and I worked out my cost pricing. So in here is 20% coconut oil, so 400 grams, sorry. 400 grams of coconut oil, 2%, because it's a 2 kilo batch, 2,000 grams. So it's 400 grams of coconut oil there, and 2% milk powder, and I just want to use that up. So it's basically, today's batch is just to use up things so they don't go to waste. And today's a 3 oil recipe. It's an olive free recipe, so obviously there's coconut oil, and there is rice bran oil right here. And people always worry about DOS in terms of rice bran, and even soybean as well. I get that from Heirloom, really inexpensive, really good quality as well. So yes, when you do use soybean and rice bran, especially the rice bran, not so much the soybean because it's got really high conditioning properties, exactly like olive oil, but more so rice bran oil. And we are keeping olive out of this equation only because olive oil is, you know, more on the expensive side. And these 3 oils together keep it really, really low cost. But when you're using rice bran oil, 30% and above, it's a good idea to reduce your coconut oil from 30% to 20%. Otherwise the bar, I find, is a little drying to use. So having the coconut oil at 20%, the rice bran in this recipe is 50%, and then the remaining 30% is the soybean oil. And a lot of people talk about DOS with rice bran, as I mentioned before. And the reason why I don't really have much issues with rice bran is because this has got a best before day on April 2025. So that's a really, really long way away. So it's a nice fresh oil. And another way to combat DOS, if you're worried about that, is reducing your super fat. So we've reduced the coconut oil from 30 to 20 for the conditioning benefits, because as you know, coconut oil is cleansing, and we've reduced the super fat from 5% to 3%. So having a 3% super fat significantly reduces the likelihood of DOS when you're using more DOS prone oils. So having, you know, 50% rice bran in this recipe, 3% super fat, it's really unlikely you're going to get DOS. I've never ever had DOS issues, even at 5%, because I, you know, use fresh oils and they've got a really long expiry, and it's really inexpensive. 4 litres I grabbed for $16.50 at my local Woolies. They were on sale, they're on special, and generally I think the price is $22. So I thought I'll just grab myself a few of these. And the rice bran oil is from Heirloom Body Care, and I grabbed big drums of those as well because I use soybean oil in King of Sud Soap. And you can grab 20 litres for $81.40, which is a great price. And you can grab the 5 litres, I believe it's early 20s marks, I think like $21 or $22. And of course, I have an affiliate with Heirloom Body Care, so you can go ahead and use my affiliate code, which is available in the description below. And grab yourself 5% off when you spend minimum $75. Right, so having these 3 oils make a great bar of soap. And I also, this is my fragrance oil, the mango grapefruit in here. Sodium lactate is in there as well, and the 0.5% natural vitamin E. So the vitamin E and the sodium gluconate that I add at 1%, that's also really good at preventing DOS. It acts as a antioxidant in soaps as well, it behaves that way. And also it's a chelator, so it reduces soap scum and increases lather. So everything in this recipe works harmoniously together to produce a nice stable lather, not drying, DOS resistant. So you can make very inexpensive soap with rice bran oil as long as you take into consideration, you know, the shelf life of the oil that you're using. If you're using an oil that has, you know, 2-3 month shelf life, well then of course the likelihood of DOS does increase, especially with the fatty acids that do make up rice bran oil. They are more prone to DOS, but as I said, having said that, I haven't really had those issues. Right, and I forgot to mention in the my fragrance mix is also 1% sugar syrup. So once everything is melted down in here and well incorporated, I know that this fragrance oil behaves itself, so it's not going to increase trace. But having said trace, rice bran oil does increase trace, so there's no benefit for me actually adding it after emulsion or light trace, the fragrance, because it's just going to move really quick. So I'll mix everything in here, and I'll be quick to actually put it in the mold. So the color is kind of like a mango color. It's like a orangey reddish color. So I did just a teaspoon of that with 2% white Australian clay. So that's going to be the color, which I will mix the color in there once all the oils are melted, and the fragrance in there as well, and blend it really well with the stick blender, and then add the lye solution. So the lye solution has 1% sodium gluconate, 1.25% pink salt, and that's really it for the lye water. It's actually currently cooling off outside. So I'll go ahead and actually just weigh up the oils. I need 1,000 grams, 1 kilo of rice bran. So we'll go ahead and weigh that out. Of course, the recipe is available in the description. So go ahead if you want more specifics and percentages. It will be available in description. So go ahead and have a look. And I've gotten this question many times over the years, but more so recently, why I don't provide exact numbers for recipe, and because you never actually, it's highly recommended, you don't just copy someone else's recipe, because there have been instances in the past with other soapers and other like newbie soap makers where they'll copy the recipe as it was shown and it was actually wrong, so it ended up being lye heavy or the wrong intended superfat. So I only ever provide percentages in the description, because I encourage you to always run through a lye calculator, even if it's a recipe that I give you, just for safety reasons. Right, so I'm just about finished off weighing out the soybean, and I'm just waiting for the lye water outside to cool. And then once that's done, I'm just going to incorporate everything, blend everything together, and then just make some budget-friendly soap for my local cafe. Alright, so I'll be waiting for that to cool down, and I will see you shortly. Right, so as you can see, these are really beautiful bars. Really turned out really nice. Very, very inexpensive. Smells so nice. It's a subtle smell, it's not overpowering. But making it in a slab like this, where it doesn't get overly hot, well, not a slab, I should say a loaf, it doesn't get overly hot compared to a slab, so a slab does get a lot hotter. This fragrance doesn't really hold up very well in a slab, but in a loaf like this, it definitely holds up a lot better. But when it cures, it is really subtle. It's not a scent that holds up really like strongly after cure. So it's just a nice mild scent. So I'm going to be calling it mild mango and grapefruit when I do the labels for these. So yeah, I thought I'll just show that you don't really have to use expensive oils to make, beautiful bars of soap, functional bars. And I have actually made this recipe in the past. I just didn't like, because Rice Bran does trace fast, I just didn't really like that I couldn't do like nice color designs and swirls and stuff like that. It's a little difficult. So that's why I kept this bar at one color, because I knew it was going to actually move a little quick, as you've seen. And he just pulsed it a few times with the stick blender and moved it around, and that was enough to bring it to a light trace. And as I poured it, within a very short amount of time, it was really solid and it was able to be textured, so it really did move fast. So if you're using a fast moving fragrance, it's going to make it move incredibly fast. But yeah, it's just to show that you don't need to use expensive oils to make really beautiful bars of soap. And this is actually a pretty mild and gentle recipe, especially it being at 20% coconut oil. You can even do 15% coconut oil and just up the rice bran from 50 to 55 if you so wish. If you want it to be a little bit lower cleansing, that's totally fine. You can even do 80% rice bran and 20% coconut oil. You can just play around with what you like. But I like the the soybean, because it is really, really conditioning. So I did want to put at least 30% of that in this recipe. And but you, by all means, you can do 80-20 or 85-15, being 85% rice bran and 50% coconut. Because rice bran does have a pretty good amount of stearic acid in there, so it does actually make hard bars. I find with rice bran it does make really, really nice hard bars. So having just that little bit of coconut really just makes it a hard, long-lasting bar. This is about 4.5 to 5 hours. So it's about, let me look at the time. It's about 5 hours after I poured. So I'm able to cut this recipe 5 hours later. Yeah, so it is a really nice bar of soap, like the recipe to use. And because I've got a lot of fragrance oils and even natural fragrance oils, this is a natural fragrance, that I just need to use up, and I won't be really buying this one again, because it really doesn't hold up compared to a lot of other fragrances. So instead of it just spoiling and going to waste, I'll make very inexpensive bars, as you see here, and I put these for sale for $4 at my local cafe, and people pick them up with their morning coffee. So I'll still be making money on it, and the cafe obviously makes a little bit of money on it, and I'll be covering cost and just making a tiny bit of a profit. But I'd rather do that than just see the fragrances go to waste. So and it's a really inexpensive bar to make, very, very inexpensive. It's actually less than 99 cents per bar. And if you were to make it, unscented, well, that'll be even cheaper. Yeah, so you don't need to, I stress you know, I always tell people, you don't need to, you know, but I want to make soap, you know, I'm a new soap maker, I want to put shea butters and, you know, cocoa butters and stuff, and yeah, great. I mean, they make absolutely beautiful soap and really nice qualities in soap, but you really don't need to, like, you know, especially for home use and stuff, you know, like, you just want soap to do what it's meant to do, which is clean and not dry your skin out at the same time. So, yeah, like, I'm actually really happy with this recipe, and maybe, like, you know, maybe I'll introduce, you know, plain and simple bars as well in my range, and I'll probably have this recipe in it as well because I know it works really well. Yeah, so you just don't need to go out and spend an arm and a leg, and coconut oil has become really inexpensive now. What's actually become expensive is the olive oil. But yeah, rice bran and, you know, soybean and coconut oil, in Australia anyway, I know they are very, very inexpensive. And I know, like, in some places like India and like South Asia, like Malaysia and Pakistan as well, rice bran is relatively inexpensive compared to olive oil. So you can just make absolute wonderful soap with rice bran. You just got to make sure to lower the cleansing qualities in your bar, meaning keep the coconut oil below 20%. Otherwise, I have done 70-30. So 70% rice bran, 30% coconut. I found it drying, and then I did play around with 75, and I still found it a little on the drying side, but then when I changed it to 20-80, it was great, and it's even better now that I'm doing 20 coconut, 30% soybean and 50% rice bran. It's the sweet spot. It's just like really, really nice, lathers up really well, and I just can't complain with it, and people love it as well. When I do make some and I put them at the cafe, they sell really quick, and yeah, like, people in my local area actually, they call me the soap man, or the soap king, you know, so that's where King of Suds, you know, like my second brand that I'm doing alongside Dawn Organics, that's where King of Suds kind of came from, because everyone kind of calls me King of, or Soap King, or King of Soap, you know, so I thought, oh yeah, play on words, King of Suds, so that's where the actual name came from. Everyone actually calling me that in my area, and I absolutely love this mica. I actually forgot which mica it's called. I will have a look. I will actually put it in the description. I know I think it's a bronze mica. Yeah, I think so. It's from Aussie Candle Suppliers. I will obviously put the name of it, the proper name, below if you are interested in purchasing that mica. Very, very nice. I love the colour, beautiful, kind of matches the whole mango thing. Yeah, so I thought I'll just do a chit chat. I'll provide just a snapshot of the cost for these bars as well, so you can see, and of course this little nice big off cut at the end, that'll be mine. I'll be using that. Smells really nice. Yeah, so I thought I'll just bring you along with the cutting and just have a little chat along with the cutting, because usually I just cut and I don't really talk. But this time I thought I'll talk. You can make beautiful bars, very inexpensive, they do the job, beautiful, and you don't need to, you know, spend an arm and a leg.